Hi, everybody. So thanks for joining me. I have Senators Senators Reid and Murray for being here today. Well, it's been a busy week in the Senate. Last night, the Senate voted 83-12 to advance the NDAA by a strong margin. It says here, last night, the Senate voted 83-12 to advance the NDAA by a strong margin of 83-12. Reading my notes. He got it, no one else. The NDAA is now on a glide path to final passage. Of course, the NDAA is not perfect. It doesn't have everything either side would like. It includes some provisions that we Democrats would not have added and other provisions that we would want left out entirely. But, of course, you need bipartisanship to get this through the finish line. The NDAA took a strong stance against the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, something I fought for very hard to get in that bill, and now it's in. The NDAA will boost the use of AI for our competitiveness and national defense, something you know I'm very passionate about. It would also expand the Tech Hub program from the Bipartisan Chips and Science Act. These funds will transform communities in New York and across the country into the next epicenters of innovation. Lots of smaller cities and rural areas that were left out will now be part of this modernization of our tech industry. The bipartisan measures to expand on AI, to expand our AI infrastructure, and strengthen the U.S. edge against the CCP are so important to our national security and our technological edge. And Chairman Reid has done a great job. I salute him. You'll hear from him in pushing this bill through. On the CR, there continues to be good progress. Work is ongoing to finalize an agreement in text. Text is not yet posted. Of course, time is of the essence to pass this bill before the December 20th deadline to prevent a harmful government shutdown and deliver critical disaster relief, which we're fighting very hard for American families. Senator Murray and I are going to continue to work together to make this happen. So let me turn it over to Senator Murray.
Well, thank you. We have been working around the clock to wrap up the CR and the disaster relief bill. We should be done, but unfortunately we've been delayed by an 11th hour demand from the Speaker. We are very close to an agreement, so I look forward to resolving the final issues and getting back on track. We are heading into the holidays, and the nation really needs a bipartisan package that will prevent a needless shutdown, keep our government open, and get much-needed support to areas across the country that are recovering from disaster. Communities hit by hurricanes and tornadoes and fires and a lot more have been waiting for a long time for this. It's been nearly a month since I held a bipartisan hearing on just how urgently people all across our country need disaster relief. They are counting on us to deliver the resources they need to get back on their feet, to rebuild essential infrastructure, and recover in the wake of disaster. They are watching and wondering whether Congress is going to help them. And we have to answer with a resounding yes by getting this package across the finish line, which is what I am focused on doing. We have to make some hard choices in Congress sometimes. This should not be one of them. Another easy choice ahead of us, funding the government and preventing a senseless and devastating shutdown. I do want to note that here in the Senate, where Democrats hold the majority, we put forward our serious funding bills. We passed them out of committee on an overwhelming bipartisan basis, not a theoretical exercise, but to write bills that could pass both chambers and actually help people. Because it does matter if NIH is forced to operate on last year's spending priorities, setting back groundbreaking research. It does matter if the Social Security Administration has the resources they need to clear backlogs so seniors can get their benefits, or if WIC is fully funded so moms and babies don't go hungry. Across all of our funding bills, there are real consequences for real people, for our economy, and for our national security. So yes, it is disappointing to be here again at the 11th hour, waiting to simply kick the can down the road with another CR rather than passing our bills into law that meet the needs of our country. But I will remind everyone, as we work together now to negotiate a full-year spending bill for fiscal year 2025, the appropriations process will remain bipartisan. House Republicans will have fewer seats than they do this year, and Senate Republicans will not have 60 members. Democrats will continue fighting for the investments that matter to families and working people everywhere in this country on everything from child care to affordable health care to clean drinking water and so much more. So, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Let's fund the government, pass these bills that will help our fellow Americans and get them across the line. Thank you.
Senator Reid.
Well, thank you, Leader Schumer and Chair Murray. The 2025 National Defense Authorization Act strengthens America's economic, industrial, and military might. It invests in our service members, increasing the pay of junior enlisted service members by an historic level. And it contains significant raises for our other uniformed personnel and DoD civilian employees, too. It includes major quality of life improvements, enhancing things like child care, housing, medical services, employment support for military spouses, and much more. And it authorizes critical investments in technology and advanced weapon systems, strengthens our cyber capabilities, and bolsters innovative R&D research. I appreciate the 83 senators who came together last night to advance the bill and help make America safer and stronger. They voted to raise wages at plants and shipyards around the country and to ensure we can recruit and retain the skilled workforce we need for our industrial base. The bill has strong bipartisan support. But I do share my colleagues' frustration that the bill includes a provision that would prohibit gender-affirming health care for minors in certain circumstances. I voted against this provision in committee and disagree strongly with including such an extreme, misguided provision in the defense bill. However, during the negotiation process, we were successful in stripping out the vast majority of very far-right provisions that were passed in the House bill. Our military is and must retain be a merit-based organization, not a partisan one. We must work together to ensure our military remains the strongest, most effective, professional, and lethal fighting force on the planet. We have a duty to support our servicemen and women. We rely on their skill, their judgment, their integrity, and their courage. They deserve worthy leadership, worthy of their sacrifices. And we believe this bill, by and large, accomplishes that mission. Thank you.
Thank you, Jack. We'll take questions, but first, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy everything to everybody. Yes.
Fundamentally broken, and he said, this is no longer a system for evaluating fitness for judicial office. I'm wondering what your reaction is to that.
My reaction is that we didn't have the votes to put him on the floor, and I was supportive of him. That's regrettable. Yes.
One of your big accomplishments in 2022 was the CHIPS Act, but since the beginning of this year, Intel stock is down 60%. Pat Gelsinger has stepped down because the board did not agree with his vision for competing with TSMC long term. Looking back at it, do you think Congress overestimated the viability of manufacturing semiconductors?
No. Most of the chip manufacturers are doing very well. Micron, Global Foundries in my state, Wolfspeed, all across the country. I don't know what the specifics are in Intel, but the Chips and Science Act is one of the best things this Congress has done in decades, and it'll keep America number one. Yes. Look, the text hasn't been posted yet. We agreed to a March 15th, 14th deadline, and I believe that will hold. Yes. I think I will await the decision by the President. Thank you, everybody.